Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This is round 20 of silver, and both championships have been wrapped up. So I'm going to be putting my feet up tonight. No mass, no worrying, no nothing. It's going to be a splendid, relaxing broadcast here tonight to round off what has been a phenomenal season 10. And to be fair, even though the championship was wrapped up last week in Qatar, it's still it's still been a very close championship. All four championships of ALR this season have been so close. It's been redonkulous. Of course, three of the four were clinched in the will be clinched or have been clinched in the final final race of the season, and silver was the only one that was actually clinched in the second to last race. It's been a phenomenal season in terms of competitiveness over the 4 championships. It has been an absolute pleasure to watch the drama unfold in all of ALR Grand Prix racing this season. We've got 2 more drivers that I think are ready to come in. But luckily for me, that gives me a great opportunity oh dear, support for 2019 officers ended. Oh well, that's a shame. All right, whoops. All right, then let's get on with the show, shall we? Mayran, of course, clinched the championship last week. He is the 10th champion of ALR Silver. Congratulations to Mayran. Looking forward to seeing what he can do in the top tier of championship racing the next season. Cannot wait. Sweet has been confirmed as runner-up, and I think that is Sweet's best season in silver. I hazard a guess. It's indeed, because Sweet's best previous was only 8th, which I'm surprised by that. But I thought he finished in the top 3 before, but he hasn't, unless I've done my stats wrong, which is also very high probability. Who's messaging me? Go away. Right. Oh, Chaz is messaging me as well. Fantastic. Good stuff indeed. Right. Oh, have I been tagged? 1 second. I think I've been tagged. 1 minute. Whilst we're getting on with the broadcast and all that kind of jazz, and we'll be getting ready. And all that. Oh, I haven't been tagged. Rude. Right. Anyway. Whoops. Turn your notifications off, Sean. Third position is Duke. Duke had very similar to Mayran, however, through the season, where there was a lot of technical gremlins for the top 2 teams this season, wasn't there? And I think that cost Duke in the end, in the potentially challenging for the championship, who I installed as one of the favourites this season for the championship. So sorry, Duke, that's my fault for you not winning the championship. The battle for third position is certainly well and truly on then, and potentially a chance to drive in gold next season between Duke and Markey. Whether that's a poison chalice or not remains to be seen. Kiki out of that fight now, down in 5th position. He's joining in qualifying. Kiki is looking at me notes here. Junior in 6th position, and has an outside chance of getting past Kiki if he if he wins, basically. Vassier, a great season in 7th position, could get to 6 as well, and 11 points away from Junior. Camarade's only 14 points away from Vassier as well. Riley, one of the stars of the season for me. Superb stuff in that second Ferrari, and has shown flashes of brilliance. Certainly flashes of potentially great race winning pace, hasn't he, this season? Tori, who's had issues with his wheel, I think, as I read earlier on today in the paddock, and that's why since Canada, thank you very much, Mushroom. I was going to read that out as well. I'm glad I did it, because I was like, what does he mean by that? And then I was like, oh, that was scary. Tori's had has been not racing with a wheel since Canada, which might be one of the reasons why he struggled in the last several races or so. R2B in 11th position, there just outside the top 10. Gordo, Gordo is only had one moment to talk about this season, but of course, it is that Grand Prix win in Belgium, which a lot of drivers, including me, will give my arm and a leg for. So even though Gordo's had a terrible season, that win there, I think, has certainly made up for a lot of the trials and tribulations. Luke in 13th position, Kyle in 14th on 25 points. I think Kyle is going to be feeling a bit hard done by, because he's had the pace to score more than that. I think that possibly Kyle, if he got all his chances, or sort out all his chances, then hang on a minute. Just telling Foff that we're ready to go. Good stuff. Right then, if Cardell, of course, clinched all the opportunities that he had this season, I think that Cardell probably could have doubled or even tripled his points tally. Could be up as high as well in the top 10, in my humble opinion. Sloth in 15th position now, with KD in 16th. Irvine on 21 points, 15 for Gamer, who's not racing here today. And then we got Jay Hinks and Farfree potentially could be going back down to bronze next season as well. Those 2 drivers certainly, maybe even Irvine as well. Irvine's not racing here today. Of course, the reason why is because, Gamer's only just stepped foot in the Haskell, and it's probably a bit harsh to relegate him, and he's only had a couple of races. And having said that, I think the relegation and promotion model is kind of a bit of a take of a pinch of salt, isn't it? I do think the drivers, Farfree and Jay Hinks, I'm sure, are certainly going to be going into bronze next season. But whether Irvine does or not remains to be seen. In the Constructors' Championship, McLaren also clinched the Constructors as well. Well, to Markey and Mayran, to be honest, I think that has been a foregone conclusion since the start of the season. They've been pretty formidable. The battle for second, though, is well and truly on, but with only one Haas driver in here tonight, a sweep, then Williamson have a chance to pinch that second position once again. Teammates has let in each other down, really, in the constructors, but then again, I think I'm the only one that cares about the constructors. When we have got Red Bull on 182 points and 13 points in front of the Alpine team, Aston Martin on 116 points, 891 for Kick Sauber, 3 points in front of Ferrari, who potentially could overthrow the Kick Sauber team as well. Far from the harsh over season, Camaro is also would like to keep that same position. I'm sure if it Racing Bulls who won the Constructors' Championship for gold, down in 9th position, and Mercedes, another team that has had a pretty difficult season, down in 10th position. And I've got to say that that's basically like that across the board for Mercedes. They've had a horror show of a championship in ALR this season, unfortunately, but we are now in the paddock, ready to get going for the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final race of the season, and the final race of the season for me as well. Goodness gracious me. As after today, I'm going to be hibernating. Well, I can't hibernate yet because, of course, me and Ike's will be doing the reviews as well in the coming weeks, which I don't know when it's going to be released, to be honest. Well, I think that the plan is maybe New Year's Day, which would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Or is that the driver draw? I do not know, to be honest. As a lot of things come in one ear and out the other, to be fair. So, of course, I normally, especially when I'm on an empty stomach, I do struggle to pay attention there, which has sadly been that's been my burden to bear over the years of being on this earth. I'm also talking a little of rubbish as well. Let's take a look. Have we got any milestones tonight? Not really. If Gordo is in the paddock here tonight? I don't think he is. Oh, he is making this 162nd Grand Prix start tonight. Cool stuff for Gordo. We got a camera racer out of the pits, and of course a unique pit exit here, which of course will be very interesting. Indeed, this camera racer is out on circuit. Have I got my sound enabled? Then that's not going to be good, is it? I've been chatting away for like umpteen minutes now, and I've forgotten to put the sound on. But luckily, I think I've done that, which is very cool stuff indeed. But as we just on the back straight as well, what an incredible race it was last night. And of course, Sam Swift Ninja also sounding very. Of course, in the interview last night, Sam Swift Ninja now a 4-time world champion of ALR Gold. Then he has been undefeated in his 4 seasons he's raced in ALR. That's an absolutely impeccable pedigree that Sam Swift Ninja has left on ALR. Whether or not he races next season remains to be seen. Of course, he has mentioned that the racing has been a bit boring from his side this season, and of course, did mention about maybe if the rules are slightly changed, then and potentially having in maybe 2 sub strategies or banning the hard tires. But of course, that was one of the Sam Swift Ninja's suggestions potentially. That has not been discussed by any of the governing body of ALR. To be fair, of course, all the admins, I should say. But whether that, of course, I think the admins are always open to rule changes and things like that. But I must admit, I'm not sure if I've heard anything like that, to be fair, from the admins. Maybe there might be a late shoehorn for next season. But of course, next season, I think as well, I think it's going to be a 17-round calendar. Of course, it's always shorter the second season on the second season of a game, mainly because interest goes down, and also because as well, of course, summer and all that kind of stuff, and we've got Easter and all that jazz that seems to get in the way, doesn't it? It's Camera Racer coming down those first and 2 back straights, and of course tonight then the only thing that could be clinched tonight, I was saying that all the championships could be clinched. What could be clinched tonight is if Racing Bulls do not outscore McLaren by 14 points then, give or take, because as it stands at the moment, the gap is 58 points. If the gold classifications, which is provisional at the moment because they're still, because I think the reports are still being reviewed by the stewards, but if the gold results stand as they are, then at the moment McLaren are on course to win the Joint Constructors Championship, unless Racing Bulls outscore them by 14 points then. Racing Bulls in silver, I must say, they do have 2 very good drivers, but over the course of the season then, Racing Bulls have only scored, hang on, let me get my old monocoque out, has only scored over 14 points once, and that was at the Canadian Grand Prix. So not looking too hopeful for Racing Bulls at the moment, and potentially the Joint Constructors Championship can be won here tonight with just one race to go after tonight, and we all know what we're looking forward to now. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that we're all looking forward to silver tonight, but I think what we are more interested in is the showdown of the three drivers fighting for the bronze championship tomorrow night, and that is between Reflection, who has a 20-point lead over Smithy, and a 21-point lead over Hungry Stars. And it's a freeway for the World Championship in bronze. That is tomorrow night on ALR YouTube, and cannot wait to see how that one transpires. And it is going to be a superb end then to a superb season in bronze. Cannot wait. Remember, bronze has a slightly different point scoring method, which is which of course then is 30 points for Grand Prix win, 31 points potentially on the table then. So I think it's still all to play for. Points all the way down to 15th position, and it is going to be a hullabaloo tomorrow night. I don't really know what a hullabaloo is, but it's going to be fantastic. Tori's gone fast, I said, and now this is interesting because when Tori mentioned about his steering wheel, then of course that's tomorrow night though in bronze. Tonight in silver, then potentially the Joint Constructors Championship can be won here tonight if Racing Bulls have to score 14 points or more to keep the Joint Constructors Championship hopes alive. However, unfortunately for that is that Racing Bulls only scored over 14 points once in this season. That was at Canada. So it is not looking too good for Racing Bulls, unfortunately. But let's see how this one transpires. In terms of Tori, then, Tori's had a wheel issue since the Canadian Grand Prix. So if we, Canada's very much in the news tonight, isn't it? So since Canada, then, let's take a look at Tori's record then in terms of points. He scored 16 points since Canada. As his overall tally, of course, up until Canada or during Canada was actually 43 points then. So that does coincide with Tori's difficult second half of the season then. So so he's finally got the technical issues sorted out for Tori, which will not help him in this final stage of the World Championship. But it's surely going to be a statement of intent. Because I have mentioned, though, haven't I, that Tori, I was expecting to be a bit further up the grid, up in the championship than what he has been this season. And now that does make a lot of sense, and it also makes me feel a lot happier myself because it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, which is a very rare thing indeed. As the incident channel is now open. Hello to Serious Version and hello, good luck all to Gordo in his 162nd Grand Prix start. And Sam sounded ecstatic, said, who you got reported? Spill the beans, says Serious Version. I think Cam reported someone. I don't know who though. There were some shenanigans, I think, on the opening lap. Then it was. Oh no, hang on. I think it was Nameless. It might have been actually. I must admit, I'm not allowed in the reporting area of ALR because I think I'm a liability, and also I am not privy to that kind of thing. Sadly, KD on an outlaw moon. Here comes Kieran making his debut start for this season. Anyway, I don't know if he's his debut start in silver. Then, of course, Kieran has been really impressive in the event league. I do expect Kieran to be at the sharp end of the field here tonight as well in that Mercedes. Once again, Mercedes who were fighting the Constructors Championship, but unfortunately only one car is eligible for points, and that car is Jay Hings. The reason why I keep repeating myself is because of course a couple of years ago in bronze, basically Ferrari had one driver all season and they had a load of super subs, and basically that won in the Constructors Championship. No disrespect to New Potato, who of course also got majority of the points as well, but it was deemed to be a little unfair for drivers who turned up week after week after week. Outscore McLaren, no pressure, eek, says Gordo. Absolutely. And of course, McLaren have had a couple of 1-2s as well this season as well. So McLaren are on the cusp of a clinch in the Joint Constructors Championship. So Gordo and Kydal have got work to do tonight then. And I think there's been a difficult season for Racing Bull in the second tier of Grand Prix racing. But of course, in the top end, they won the Constructors Championship very nicely indeed, thanks to Percy and to Immortal as well. Commiserations, by the way, to Immortal. What a season he's had then, of course. He's probably going to be feeling a bit deflated at the moment there, and I'm not helping the situation either, but I think Immortal has taken a step which no one, I think, thought it was possible. As Kieran has gone fastest there, no surprise there, to be honest. Kieran is fastest so far in his qualified session. Katie on a lap at the moment. He's used a lot of deployment here as it comes to the technical part of the circuit. But Immortal has, I think, bridged almost impossible gap to take Sam Swift Ninja down to the wire, and I feel that Sam Swift Ninja halfway through the season was very much on the ropes, and we've not seen Sam Swift Ninja under that amount of pressure before in an ALR Grand Prix Championship there. As Kiki's in the wrong car. Grr. Liam should be in the Haas and Kiki should be in the Red Bull, so I've got to make a note of that because I'm going to forget when it comes to the championship on Wednesday. So Immortal has bridged the gap absolutely superbly well. Mayran, of course, starting from the back of the field because I think that he's not been a naughty driver. I don't think he's got a qualifying ban or anything like that. It's mainly due to the fact that I think he's just going to enjoy himself. Of course, Sam Swift Ninja did something similar 6 months ago here then when he cleared the championship. But Immortal bridged an impossible gap, and I must say it was superb indeed. That I haven't really spoke about qualifying much as Jenner's gone off the circuit as Riley. I'm going to put Riley, of course we're already talking about next season, I'm going to put Riley in the mix for a top 3 championship position next season. I'm talking to Immortal taking strides. I think Riley has been one of the most improved drivers on the grid. He's been fantastic. Should there, excuse me. Any other Tiger tonight, says Real Ashton there. I don't think we've got any Rocky fans there in the comment section, or do we? As Riley had improved his time, but he's got right in front of that Red Bull there. So I don't think Riley's going to be on the Christmas card list about that Red Bull, which I think is Liam, who's meant to be in the Haas card. So please ignore that. We got Sweet, who has used a lot of deployment now. Only 9 fastest this week then, but I think that Sweet last week then, I thought Sweet then so unlucky as well. They, of course, finished runner-up then, which you'll be happy. Oh gosh, oh my word, I had hiccups there. He'd be happy, I think, Sweet with a runner-up, but of course, Sweet, a Grand Prix winner, a multiple Grand Prix winner now, would be happier if he was claiming the championship, but it was such a difficult task, nonetheless, wasn't it? 1 or 2 stops tonight, Mushroom then. It's 5 stops, says Real Ashton there. 5, 2, I would Gordo, but 1 is possible as a stretch. If you choose 1, Gordo start mediums. Then 2 is a good way to go. 1 stop is good if you keep the tires alive and have a good consistent pace, says Morrison. Yeah, I would say 2 is the best way. I think that someone said 2 is the quickest way to run a race around here, isn't there? But of course, it is the problem about is traffic, isn't it? Here's Jinner, who's stealing the slipstream of Tori, who's right up in 2nd position there. If it's the first time you're watching Silver tonight, then you're wondering why hasn't Tori been involved in the championship fight. Of course, he had issues with the wheel, with his wheel since Canada, which basically meant since Canada he's only scored 11 points, something like that. I sin it early on. Duke has made his way up in the 4th position, but it's invalidated his time. Jinner, Tori has given a glancing blow with the Latifi bar. We also seen someone else crash there last night. So Tori's abandoned his time, as has Jinner, as has Duke as well. Of course, it's Jinner trying to overtake coming into the pit lane. That's going to be frowned upon by the FIA, by the ALR admin stewards, I'm sure of it there. That might be a bit dangerous there. Of course, talking of the pit entry, you've got to be very careful with the pit entry there because you get a 3-second penalty. I attest to it. That's the reason why I got 21 seconds of penalties in the event league. But then you're going to ask, why did I come in the pits 21 times then? And let's say no comment. Jay Hings on the lap now then as he's down to the far end of the circuit of turn 4. And now accelerated on to the back straight. 2 back straights around here. Of course, this track was modified back in 2021. It's only been on the calendar since 2009. I say only, goodness me, that feels like these years get scarier and scarier because Abu Dhabi still feels like a newish Grand Prix to me. And then, like the same period of time when I first started watching F1, of course, Japan had been on the calendar for 10 years, but it feels like Japan's been on the calendar forever and a day. Of course, I'm on about Suzuka, Japan, then, and not Fuji. And not Fiji, as I think I said a couple of streams ago, which is not very good either, because that's a country, isn't it? And all that kind of stuff. Gordo down in 15th finish now, as I mentioned, Racing Bull need to outscore McLaren by 14 points to keep the joint constructors going till the final race there. As R2B is scampering off the circuit there, and all getting a bit squirrely as well. Of course, we've got a couple of fights for the championship tonight in terms of third in the Drivers' Championship, and also a couple of the teams would probably could elevate themselves and also de-elevate themselves. That's not a word, is it? But let's carry on. Anyway, don't worry, Sean, I don't need to worry about traffic. I am the traffic, haha. Don't touch the curb on the inside. I picked up 2 warnings for it. I picked up all 3, to be honest, but I blame Mushroom for our position in the pit lane now. We got that's the spirit, Gordo. My last tomorrow on the Horny Apex. What is it called, the Horny, or have I just made that up? Kieran's been disqualified. Well, that's not good, is it? I'm not sure. Well, he was on pole position, but he's not anymore. He's been disqualified. KD is 4 tenths up. Great second sector there from KD. Lovely stuff indeed. Is just coming out of turn 9, I believe that is. On the Hornet, on the Apex race wheel, has no force feedback. Santa Mushroom got me Logitech G29. Oh, this is my wheel, but it's time for a change and all that kind of stuff. Time for a change and a few minutes. Did you miss talking to me in the podium interviews? Says Morris. I absolutely did. Because also I quite like it, because the fact is that I don't have to worry about asking questions and stuff like that, because I could just have a sip of me squash whilst Morris talks about his race. It's fantastic indeed. Did you get a magic? Did you get magic with that wheel? Says Real Ashton there. Apex Racing Wheel. It's called. It says Real Ashton. I must admit, I don't really know much about race wheels and stuff, because all I know is that they're round normally, and they steer the car left and right, and that's all I know. I don't know what the buttons do. I do not know anything else, which is one of the reasons why I've been ousted from the grid for next season of ALR, sadly, as the admins have put I'm a bit of a liability. I'm also a liability in the box as well, but luckily for me, the admins can't find any other fool to do it. Just kind of coming down the back straight, we got just under 2 minutes to go whilst I've been waffling away, and get into the rhythm, Sean. Goodness gracious me, this is the final round of the season. Yes, I know that the championship is not on the line, but still, there's a lot of pride involved, and even the Joint Constructors Championship can be won tonight, so I gotta get with the programme. Yes, I did. No idea of the place the PS5 settings, mind you. So I'll have to wait till next season to use it for Real Ashton. And of course, Real Ashton is one of the reasons that I enjoy bronze, to be fair, because I think that watching Real Ashton's progress over the years, over the 2 seasons, has been absolutely fantastic. And I think same with Liam as well. Liam, of course, has been fantastic. I think one of my highlights of the season is KD's qualified 11th. Is his performance in Brazil in the event league was superb. Out of the final turn for Kaidao. Kaidao goes 12 fastest, so that helps the Racing Bull with ever so slightly keep himself in the window for the Joint Constructors Championship. Slop is invalidated and is down in 13th position. Liam is on the back straight now. I'm going to keep an eye on Jitter then. As Jitter started us on now. Let's go on board with Jitter then. Of course, not a pole position this season. I have to go a long way back since the last time that Jitter was not on a pole position for a full season. He has got one more chance then to put that wrong right for the Williams and for himself as well, as he's hacksawing away at the wheel. And down the back shot. I thought he was going to lift off there, but he's not. He's trying to find a very distant slipstream, a toe on that Red Bull, as now it gets out of the way, and I think that would have helped ever so slightly then. Into 6 and 7, the chicane there. And don't take too much curve, that'll unsettle the car. And now DRS once again, then you can hear the beep in the driver's ear, as now flying down, taking another toe, this time from the Red Bull, no, Racing Bull, I should say, of Kaidal then, and now flicking it into turn 9. Purple in the second sector for Jenna. Of course, a Grand Prix winner as well this season for Jenna. I think it's been a solid season for Jenna, and I do think that next season they're all going to be lining up, I think, next season for the Drivers' Championship there, because I feel Jenna's going to take a next step. I think Tori's going to be in the vicinity as well. Between Markey and Duke, only one of those drivers could get promoted into gold then. The other driver's going to be surefire the favourite then. And Jenna crossed the line to stays full fast. I think he lost a bit of time in the end. Sloth stays at 12th on the grid. Riley then coming out of the final turn, and Riley goes 5th fast. He's been superb. Then Gordo coming across the line. Don't cut out across the line. Goes 12th fastest there. Good 17th. Then R2B gets himself just outside of the top 10 then. So that's unfortunate. Then there's Vestier has finished off his lap as well. Duke's on pole position then for the final race of the season here in Abu Dhabi. Markey on circuit as well. Markey we're on board with, and Tori then coming out of the final turn. And can Tori get pole position? No! What about Markey? Markey's found a bit of time, and Markey's on pole position then for the third time this season for the McLaren driver. Liam finished off his lap as well. Debo Croc finishes in 10th position there. Liam in the pits. Markey, third pole position of the season for the McLaren team. That is McLaren's 11th pole position of the season as well for Markey. And Markey is now bookended the first and last races of the season with pole position in Australia and now pole position in Abu Dhabi as well for Markey. That is perfect. That's a perfect way to start this final stage of this final race of the season as well. And of course, Markey will already be looking forward to next season, I'm sure, a bit after. Like his teammate, he had a lot of technical gremlins as well halfway through the season. So McLaren is incredible as their season has been this season with 3 1-2 finishes. That is not the most. I think Haas have the most in a single season in silver with 5 1-2s. I think it's the most in all of ALR as well back in season 2, I believe. But McLaren did have 3 this season. They cannot equal that record. But Markey pole position by 3,000 of a second from Duke in second position. This could be a preview of next season with Tori in third position then. Of course, could be a preview, but Markey or Duke will be racing in gold next season. Jenner in fourth position. Duke is up possession. That's been one of his problems this season. Riley in 5th. Cameron 6th with Vester 7th. Sweet down in 8th position. 9th is Jay Hings and Debo Croc in 10th position. Once again, the super sub Debo Croc then hoping to get a full-time seat next season because he's been an absolute revelation in that Ferrari there. Grade 17. Right then, Google it on YouTube then. The only thing I did miss this season was help Brabbit, and to be fair, those slipstreams has really helped Brabbit then get himself in a good starting position, and after that, of course, then Brabbit did the rest in the race trim, didn't he? But I think that Morris did get a very good 4th position last night, didn't he? So, which I think is a strong season for Morris. Well, a strong end to the season for Morris, which has been very difficult indeed then. And of course, but I do think that having a teammate that helps you, I think is going to be a major factor going forward. Because this season we've seen a lot of chatter about teammates, haven't we? Especially in the final stages of the Drivers' Championship. Of course, we had the Kick Saubers helped each other out in gold, and we have seen a couple of other places as well. And I feel that could be interesting going forward in the championship. There, of course, it's very important to have a teammate, isn't it? But if your teammate don't turn up, then that could be a problem, couldn't it? Right, where am I? Traitor says, Serious Mushroom. Been using Chat GPT for the my Apex wheel setups. I've had quite a good F125 race setup, says Real Ashton. To be honest, sadly, my race setups have been pretty rubbish. I've got mine off Serious Mushroom. Hello to Percy in the chat as well. I am very well, my good sir. I hope you're okay as well. Well, I'm not actually. I'm all right. Up until about half an hour ago, of where I've run out of monsters. So that's not good. So I'm going to have to be nipping to the shop tomorrow morning, and that means I'm going to have to speak to the strange man behind the counter as well. Which I don't know why, but he seems to always ask what I'm up to in the evenings, which also makes me very worried indeed. But there we go. Good luck, Silver. Well, most of you said Serious Mushroom. Ooh, who don't you? Who are you not a fan of, Mushroom? My country's electricity situation has happened again for Duke then, and that's been the problem all through the season for Duke, hasn't it? And hopefully that can be rectified. Problem is that there's bigger things in the world compared to ALR, which in my world, must admit, is very almost non-existent, to be honest. The only thing more important in the ALR for me is food and real F1, obviously. Right, and also when I have to be called into work because, of course, I need to get paid. But those are the only 4 things, really. Oh, it also a bit of some socialising as well when it involves a drink or three. I do love a bit of. I do love dipping my toe into the old sweet berries of. I don't know why I have it at the moment. I think I have Cockenberg at the moment. Keychains, or whatever it's called. It's quite nice. Anyway, enough about that then. Don't drink and drive. Marky on pole position then for the final race of the season. His third pole position of the season and of his career as well. Duke is not in the race then. Tory has now been elevated up to second, currently third on the road. Jinner in fourth position there. With fifth position is the Ferrari of Riley. Remember that the battle for second in the Constructors' Championship is between Haas and Williams. Williams might be able to pinch second position. It's Camaro in sixth position with Vester in seventh. Sweet down in eighth position. There's a Mercedes well off the circuit there. Ninth is Jay Hinks. 10th position is Debo Krog. 11th is R2B with KD in 12th position. 4th is Gone Hard, laugh out loud, in 13th position. Grow up short. 14th is Kaidal. 15th is Slop. Kiki's also hard as well. Wow. 16th is Gordo in 17th. Liam 18th. Mayran in 19th. And Kieran in 20th position there. A bit wonky on the old pit stop there. I can't lie, I missed not racing and go for the final for race. God, I wasn't there for the whole season without a win. I can't believe the drop off I've had then. Says Percy as we're about to get going for the final time in silver. 5 lights on, 5 lights up. Let's go in Abu Dhabi. And of course Duke has got no car at the moment then, so it's Marky who's got a clear shot into turn 1, and Duke is going to just fall down the tumble down the order. Jinner third. Camera Racer's got past as you can see as they fly through the field then, and is everyone gone away safe and sound? No, there's contact at the back there, and there's debris. Then is Mayran, the world champion, is in major peril and is had to recover right to the back of the field. Riley and Camera Racer are going side by side. It says all under two, and there's a Haas off the circle as well. It is KD in his Red Bull, and he's got to do a 3-point turn now in the Haas, I should say, that down into the first braking point, and that's the Ferrari of Riley going side by side with Camera Racer. And of course there is nothing left to lose anymore in this championship, but the two Ferraris have come to blows. So King Salver Ferrari, and who's that through? Look at that, that's Fessier. Thank goodness me, he forces his way through. Elbows out then, and Fesser's up in the fourth position. Magnificent stuff indeed. I think Vesser's upset they didn't get voted for the overtake of the season then, or get a nomination, because in the last couple of races he's been superb, but Camera Racer has given him a bit of a boost there, isn't it? This could be anarchy. It's been an anarchy opening start here in Silver. Goodness gracious me, and coming out to complete lap 1 of this very frantic and furious start to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. That one completed. Look at the gap there. It's 5 tenths of a second there from Tory, who leads from Marky. Whilst I've been waffling away, we've actually seen a change for position there. Far from the 10th position, goodness me, Farf is trying to keep his silver status alive after his worst championship of his career, as it comes to an end then tonight there. But he could be going back. He could be going to bronze, and which would be the first driver to go from gold to bronze. Actually, the second driver after Mr. Elite there. Tory leads. Second is Marky. Third is Jinner. Vessier, Camera, followed by Riley. Then we got Sweet, Devo Crook, Jay Hinks. Farf completes the top 10. At the moment, then Mayran is down in 70 position because he's had a spin. Then also Duke is out of the Grand Prix, or has had technical issues there. Unfortunately, electrical issues once again. And for Duke is really struggling to keep the unfortunately in his country. And here comes Marky with DRS and repasses and back up into second position for Marky. And as it stands at the moment, Marky will be into third position in the Drivers' Championship and will be resuming his career in gold, which would be good or not so good. It depends on your point of view, and I'm sure Marco would love to have actually a challenge for the championship in silver next season, which to be honest is not all doom and gloom. What's happened? There's a yellow flag floating around at this part of the circuit here. Mayran now in the 15th position there. I think that the promotion and relegation has also be taken with a pinch of salt as well, because because potentially I think that sometimes you can be overlooked and stay in the same championship there, but it's down to the admins as well, as they do a lot of scientific stuff. I am sure of it. Unless it's Farf, of course. I think that Farf just sticks his finger in the air and hopes for the best. Of course, I am joking, because as Farf, who does a lot of hard work as well, and also because I'm going to also hopefully butter up Farf, and he can send me some chocolate then as a Christmas present as we come down the back straight once again, as we got Marky and Tory fighting for position, and then we got Gordo for Jinner in a third position. Vessier in fourth, and then we get a big stop. 6 seconds back is Mayran after the shenanigans that he's experienced over the first 2 laps here. Not as tense as it was last night. Of course, last night was about the Drivers' Championship. Tonight it is about the Joint Constructors' Championship, which can be won by McLaren here today. And that would be the closest Joint Constructors that ALR have ever had, which has been a superb season. It really has indeed. I work hard on those setups, says Serious Mushroom. I apologise. I'm just it's my last stream of the year, so of course I'm in Bantosaurus mode. So you know I gotta enjoy myself. Let me enjoy myself. After all the I reckon that, to be fair, you give me those setups to try to see if they're any good for not for your bronze championship, because I find it ironic how you finished 6th in the Drivers' Championship in bronze, and in the event league us struggled to 9th position in the Constructors' Championship, which of course I do not believe is all down to my lack of pace. Hello to Rocket Leader. May ran off, and evening Rocket as well. Of course, great to see you, Rocket, in the comment section. Of course, Rocket there, of course, pole position in his bronze career as well. Of course, he's moved over to PC as Kieran having a sniff on the inside there at KD, but KD repels the attack. Marky has retaken the lead there, and I probably should be looking at the front here, but I'm very absorbed in this battle between KD and Kieran there. Kieran goes on the inside then. Of course, a motorsport winner contact as Katie slams the door shut on the Mercedes toes there. Out of 6 and 7 now, and I've got a really big jumper on, and I'm sweating profusely, which isn't too bad at this time of year. But having said that, my feet are absolutely freezing. My Homer Simpson slippers are all the way on the other side of the room, which is not good, and I cannot walk away from my laptop because I'm all plugged in and all that kind of stuff. Right, we still got 19 runners left out of the train to start. Sadly, Duke out of the Grand Prix. No, fortunately, this was the race where I got my first win in ALR. Well, track that, absolutely. There, of course, Rocket League has happy memories as well. Of course, Rocket League is on the PC. He's a PC master race now, isn't he? But which I think ALR is going to be going cross-play next season. I think we are anyway. I hope we are, because there's a couple of new drivers that have joined in the last couple of weeks or so. It is PC, and I think that to expand the horizon, so to speak, and hopefully keep a more level field in terms of having more of the same drivers, instead of having so many substitutes. I think that hopefully we'll find drivers that with us for more often than not. Then, and mainly because I also get really upset about doing the reserve stuff on my spreadsheet because it ruins my life. Down the back straight then, as Marky almost out of DRS range, which means that Jinner is now going to be feeling very fruitful here, but this DRS is quite powerful down the back straight. We're going to be yo-yoing around all the way down to 12th position. It's all slipstreaming each other at the moment there. The only driver that hasn't got DRS in the top 12 is Marky, the Grand Prix leader. Jinner is all over the gearbox, and he's going to have a look down the inside, but no dice there. Farf is really looking at the back of Jay Hings. Both drivers are 19th and 20th in the championship. Both drivers is worst seasons in their career of ALR, as Kieran has passed KD and moved himself up to 11th position as well. ALR box event, who's on the main card, and who mains event then, it says Real Ashton. Well, I'll certainly be in the main event there, of course. They call me the Slugger. Out of the final turn, God, what am I talking about? Out of the final turn, Marky leads. Second is Tory. Jinner in third position. Fourth is Best here, with Camero in fifth position. Riley in sixth. Seventh position is Sweet. Eighth position is Debo Croc, with Jay Higgs in five. Completes the top 10 of this race so far. As it stands at the moment, McLaren have won the Joint Constructors Championship. The Race and Ball team of Gordo down in 14th position, whilst Kaidal has gone down into 6th position. Mayran, the world champion of silver, the 10th champion in ALR silver history, currently in the pits at the moment, trying to do, basically didn't qualify, and has unfortunately been involved in some shenanigans on the opening stages of this one then. So is it 100% set in stone, Sean, with cross-play? I think the admins are almost certainly there. I think that we are probably going to announce it later on, but we've got a lot of PC PC drivers then that are in the server at the moment there. I don't think it's 100% confirmed just yet then, but I think we're so close. Riley in 6th position on there, keeping Sweet at bay then, and as we mentioned in the build-up to this Grand Prix, that Riley has been absolutely superb in this season. He really has. He's been my vote there for driver of the season. He's been superb. 17. Oh no, PC Ron Hard hacks. Yes, ALR PC. Cameron moved that PS5 heating fan. No hacks for me. I don't know how to do that. And it takes out the actual game. Ham and cheese versus mushroom. Counting across the line. To be honest, ham and cheese will win hands down. Even though mushrooms do make you grow. But that's enough about that. Sweet is still in Riley's wheel tracks there. I'm off my game tonight. I didn't even put the tyre strategy up there. Mayran just coming in the pits. Sadly, we have to ignore Duke. Duke is not in the race, and unfortunately, power cut issues there for Duke, which is marred this season, sadly, which has potentially cost him a chance for the championship as well. Unfortunately for Duke, then, but as you mentioned, then real world drama is much more important. Got out in the pits, and after only 6 laps on the medium tyres, Farfus got past Jay Hings quite early down the straight. It's Riley again, very defensive, and at the inside goes Sweet there. Bit of rubber wheels. There's going to be a bit of Pirelli rubber on the side pod of that Ferrari. Sweet is a meat in that Ferrari sandwich there, as Devo Croc is going to be looking very fraught there and very interested on the back of how this fight transpires. Tori has taken the lead. Sweet is up into 6th position as well, but the battle at the front is they starting to extend their gap over themselves and Tori. Far from the hard tyres, they're going for the alternative strategy, as is Kiki as well. And both drivers are looking quite strong at this stage. And let's see how that transpires. But it's looking good so far for both drivers out there. I love it. I make sure grow, unless the mushrooms are magic, says Rocket League. Keep it clean, gentlemen. As Ginner's in the pits. I keep saying Gorder. Ginner in the pits, and also Riley is in the pits as well. Gap at the front is less than a second again, but Vescher's now out of DRS because of the pit stop from Ginner at this moment in time. Then on board with the McLaren, and as I keep stressing, the McLaren are now joint constructors champions if the race finishes as it is now. Tory then, who is not had a Grand Prix win this season, actually, which I'm absolutely beside myself, but we have heard in the chat, have we, in the paddock, that he's had awful issues with that Aston Martin throughout the course of the season, and has finally found his feet in the final stages of this championship. There maybe it's a build-up for next season. Cuts across, Marky retakes the lead there. Marky, of course, a two-time Grand Prix winner as well, of course, one in Las Vegas and one in Australia for Marky. I feel that Marky potentially was also involved in the championship as well, but I think a difficult mid-season there for both McLarens really cost Marky. It almost cost Mayron the championship as well. Camera race having a sniff on the inside of Vessier, another driver who's been superb this season. Vessier has. I cannot decide who is Duke is back in the session. That's good 17, but Duke has got an awful lot of time to make up. Hello to Chris Hughes, and good evening to you, my good sir. Is it all okay? Yes, indeed. I hope you're well, indeed, my good sir. Because I got this jumper on now, I'm too scared to move my head, because you can hear the like zipping going on with the old cable and stuff, which I get very concerned by. Coming across the line is and also I move around quite a lot when I'm doing this spiel, and I need to learn to just stop and sit still. But I can't, because it's so exciting. Ginner's coming out in, well, no, it came out in 13th position. Riley 2 seconds back. We've seen how big the undercut advantage is last night, didn't we? Of course, if you just joined us for the first time this week, it has of course been championship glory for Sam Swift Ninja. Then right down to the wires, Marky Reed takes the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There he goes. Sweet is it's Sweet almost into the back of Camaro. He's absolutely demolished the speed signs there. And my goodness me, was that a late manoeuvre from Camaro, or was that Sweet just being caught unaware? Well, he's going to have another dose of DRS down the second back straight. But look at Sweet's fuel light there. I've got the graphic on, and that's not good. Now Sweet is up into 4th position, and Cabaret is trying to go back up in under now. He's having a look. No, not quite. Farfus now up in his 6th position there, as he is like a wrinkly ninja there, just sneaking up on everyone. As we got Sweet in 4th position, Cabaret in 5th. Farfus in 6th position there. Goodness gracious me. Duke found 50p for the meter. I need 50p. Into the pits comes Marky as well. I just mentioned what's happened. Tory, no, I think the Tory's had an adventure coming in the pits, I think, but he's in the pits now then for Tory. Found a new leash of life as Vessier takes the lead. If you just joined us for the first time this week, then Sam Swift Ninja is the world champion of gold then for the 4th time in a row. Of course, in the real world of Formula 1, that is like Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, Michael Schumacher. They just roll off the tongue, don't they? That is the level of dominance that Sam Swift Ninja has in the ALR Gold Championship. However, Immortal has been a superb adversary for Sam Swift Ninja this season, and I personally think it's probably Sam Swift Ninja's most intense championship fight. Whether it's his most impressive remains to be seen, because he had some amazing wins, he had some amazing domination over the past 3 seasons, but this has certainly been his toughest championship fight to date. Sweet is all over the back of Vessier now, and Sweet is through with 10 lap on lap 10 out of 29. Marky has passed Kiki as well, and up into 11th position, Marky on fresh medium tyres, of course, then. Oops, sorry, I was just itching my nose, I swear, I wasn't doing anything else. Kieran on the inside of Debo Croc, magnificent, and up into 4th position goes Kieran. He's gone wide though. Debo Croc is going to be on the outside. Kieran is giving him a Ferrari's whip, which is fantastic. Great racing, both drivers. Kieran's trying to get on the power, on the loud pedal there, because he was squirreling away, and back on board with Debo Croc. Into the pits comes the race leader of a Sweet then. So we'll see where Sweet comes out now. Yellow flag. What's happened? It's Marky who's had an issue. I think it's one of the McLarens, and unfortunately that's yellow flags in the background now. I think it was Mark anyway. There's yellow flags around the facility, and there's a lot of cars behind that McLaren on the track map. Then let's go back to this battle now. Then there they are. Marky, it might have been Marky or it might have been Riley, but one of these drivers have had an issue there. Tory's gone wide, so a lot of understeer on that Aston Martin, and as he is struggling there, Tory is on this new medium tyres, which might be a cause for concern. Up the Aston Martin, says Hughes. Rocket missed his second part of the season, but Halsey done well. Cracking job. We won the constructor, says Reflections. One good race I have, and I put it in the wall, says Gordo. Oh, so it's Gordo, then of course the yellow flag there. Up the Aston, says Rocket Lee. Of course, Aston Martin are the constructors' champions in bronze. In silver, it has not been as a successful season, unfortunately, for the team from Silverstone. There, of course, the team out of the Jordan's DNA. Of course, that legendary Formula 1 team then, which almost won the 1999 Drivers' Championship with, of course, Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Got Sweet up to 12th position. Kiki down into 13th as both Haas cars swapped around. So Kiki on the very old hard tyres now. As Farp is also on very old hard tyres. I think Kiki needs to be a bit further up the field then, as Farp is coming to the pits. He hasn't even done half distance then, has he, Farp? So that to me means that this is going to be a 2-stop race, and very interesting, isn't it? Because of course it is borderline a 2 or 1 stop race, and if you can look after the tyres, it's a 1 stop, but otherwise it is a 2-stopper, and the 2-stopper is potentially faster on paper. But luckily the World Championship is not won on paper. It is of course won on the circuit, which is what we love to see. Highest driver who's been in the pits is Jinner, who now leads the way and has got a 2.5 advantage over Marky, the previous race leader, as Jinner is through, passes Sloth. Sloth is going to steal a bit of slipstream there for the Williams car, and then he'll have DRS himself there for Sloth. Sloth is not pitted. Same for Debo Croc, Vessier and Kieran, all on 1-stop strategies then for the top 5 then, whilst the rest I think are on 2-stop strategies then as well. Thunder Mayran champ then, absolutely Mayran, brilliant season he's had this season, as Torres passed Riley and moved himself up to 7th position there. We have also got Farf and Kiki Swan position there. Farf up into 12th position there. Kiki down into 13th. I think Kiki is trying to extend his stint and also trying to stick to a 1-stop. I think Farf is now nailed on for a 2-stop strategy now. Look at Sloth though. Sloth with the lack of grip, the lack of traction on those medium tyres is really hurting Marquis and Tory and Riley's progress in this Grand Prix. Up into 5th position now. there goes Markey. You can see in the foreground a blue Williams. That is Jenner who leads the way at the moment now. Can Jenner go to the end of the race? I do not know. I taught Halsey for you know, so serious pleasure. Halsey has been so consistent in bronze. He's really been absolutely emphatic, hasn't he? Whilst Reflections may have stolen the headlines, there is an absolutely outstanding peak performance. Halsey has really muscled in, hasn't he? And got those hard-fought points in the midfield to inch Aston Martin over the line and crown the Constructors champions of bronze, which has been superb stuff indeed, both for the Aston Martin team. I think have they been team of the season? Potentially. We're on board with Farfed, who is now up into a 7th position. KD has already been on 5 laps of those hard tires already. Vestier's got past Keke as well. There's a lot of overtakes in this race. This race was usually one of the better races of the season, isn't there? Which you can't always say about the real F1 race around here, but certainly in ALR trims is one of the most entertaining ones there. Most definitely picked up he picked up and took off where you couldn't carry on then. Oh, ouch indeed. No more ALR TikTok after this week. What else am I going to do? Says Real Ashton. By the way, I love that. Real Ashton's TikTok in ALR. To be honest, we do need a TikTok specialist, don't we? Because I was trying to do them, but I got to say I got a short attention span. I only use TikTok basically to just doom scroll. So that's basically, I don't do TikToks myself unless I'm unless I fancy like singing a bit of Britney Spears or something. Across the line on lap 14, the half distance in this Grand Prix, about around about turn 6 or 7 coming up then, as we're in the final stages of ALR season 10 of Silver. My goodness gracious me, then haven't Silver come a long way? Of course, since our first race, which Sirius Mushroom was there, believe it or not, then when Sirius Mushroom was a young mushroom, back in Russia of F1 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. I think it was 2019, wasn't it? Where was the first season on ALR Silver. Of course, his gold was in their third season as well, and then of course since then we have never looked back. This has been fun, hasn't it? Raced Halsey a few times before ALR, and he's always been a real decent driver. It's true though, Sean, I couldn't handle the pressure and I broke, says Rocket Lee. Don't worry about that. I had a teammate similar to that as well, Rocket Lee, in the event league. Serious mushroom. I was just watching camera race in 5th position. This is the problem when there's no championship on the line around front of the final race. I got to say, I got my claws out tonight, haven't I? A lot of banter going on in my final stream of 2025. Vestier has got past Katie. I think Katie has let Vestier through, as Vestier is another driver like Riley, who I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do next season. By the way, this is a fantastic helmet, by the way, from Vestier. I don't talk about helmets much these days, do I? Which I think is a crime which we need to put right. We need to get helmet of the season going on. Oh no. And it's the opposite part of the Latifi turn. Keke is off the circuit. And Keke, who has had a lot of highs and a lot of lows this season. I think that Keke now working night shifts as well. Hasn't been able to get a real role going on, has he? Because up until where he's doing night shifts, I think Keke was one of 5 drivers fighting for the World Championship, wasn't he? But unfortunately, Keke, sadly, he had to give up that dream. I'm a dinosaur. I don't use TikTok. Never watch TikTok. I'm too old then. Says, to be fair, I don't understand most of it. To be honest, I just kind of there's a lot of short clips about old F1 races from the 80s and 90s, which is certainly my jam. Apart from that, I don't think really much. I've watched much else on TikTok, to be fair. Having said that though, you do find out some weird and wonderful things. I found out, actually I didn't find out from TikTok, I found out from a colleague who sat next to me at work. The Haribo is actually not vegan, which I was surprised by. Apparently it's got some animal jelly or something like that, which sounds disgusting to be honest. But obviously, I'm not a man whose stomach gets turned easily, so of course I'm going to keep eating Haribo. They've got a new big bag of Haribo now, because they used to have a shared size. Now they have a double shared size bag, which I found in Tesco the other day, which is fantastic indeed. But yes, Haribo is not vegan. So if you have any vegan friends, do not do what I do and offer them a sweet out of Haribo, because it is not vegan. That's all I say. We need an ALR end of season Indy 500. To be honest, we should go into iRacing, shouldn't we? But I don't think any of the admins have it, to be honest. And I wouldn't even know how to set it up either, to be fair. But yes, iRacing we should do. And to be honest, if we had iRacing, then we could also do things like Formula E, which I know all you guys want to do a bit of Formula E, don't you? Goodness me. I am looking forward to the next season of Formula E, actually. I quite like watching Formula E, especially when it's in the off-season of F1, which is pretty cool as well. You could also have a bit of like old school racing. Does anyone remember the old A1 racing where it used to be the World Cup of Motorsport? We could do a bit of that. I mean, iRacing, I'd love to have a go on iRacing, but I think it's a bit too technical for me. Oh no, R2B off the circuit, and of course that's where Chaz had a spin last night as well. R2B is having a race up against me. It's not a strong season. He will finish 11th in the championship as it stands at the moment, but I think it's a race to forget for R2B. His camera racer is keeping up with Ronnie, but Ronnie is on harder tyres at the moment. Happy World of Haribo. Or good old R Factor was a classic game as well. I think they're on R Factor 2 now, aren't they? I've heard it's so difficult to set up R Factor 2, isn't it? Or was that GP4? Because I was watching the guy race GP4 and oh my word! As a Vesser, well, goodness me, then Vesser in the Matrix, goodness me, is this the real world? I do not know. All over the back of Farf. Farf is going to, I think, trying to eke out these tyres and get to the end. I'll be surprised if Farf can get, well, no, Farf's on hot medium tyres. I was looking at the wrong tyre there. Vestier is going to try and get to the end on these hard tyres, but far from Vestier, I've got to say that it's like Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, these two just battle each other, and even when they were teammates in the Alpine last season, or Williams, I can't remember, it was one of the blue cars, they were kicking lumps out of each other. I still remember Japan of season 9 of silver, and it's one of my highlights there. Problem at the back is that Liam has had issues. Not Liam, sorry, it's Kaidal who's had issues coming into the pit lane. I'm not sure about that. As far as I was watching that, far from Vestier are fighting side by side. That I do, and we've got to change for the lead. Then we've also got to change for seventh finish as well. Markey has taken the lead of Abu Dhabi with just 12 laps to go at this season. But Jinner is on harder tyres, and whether Jinner can get to the end from this stage, I do not know. I don't think he can, you know. A1 was rubbish, says Serious Question. It wasn't well executed, was it? I liked the idea, but then they went to Ferrari and then they forced everyone to have a new chassis, which is so much money, and because it was so much money, it just basically bankrupted all the series and the teams there. It's a bit silly. I quite like the idea of having a World Cup of Motorsport. It was a good idea, but I don't think it was executed very well. And maybe they should have stuck with the Dallara chassis there for the first, which they used in the first 3 seasons. Carry on that, because they also went to Ferrari engines as well, didn't they? And the new spec car looked pretty nice, didn't it? But the season 4, but I think that was the last season of A1, wasn't it? Does everyone remember that Super League thing as well that they used, where it was like football teams in motorsport, which was interesting. I think that there's a game on PC for that as well, because I've seen another streamer race that as well, which is quite interesting. I think it's basically an R Factor game with just a new skin on it. Kieran up into 6th position, then Farf down into 7th. I'm not sure if Farf's 2-stop strategy is working too well at the moment, because he's not quick on these medium tyres. Back at the front, and now it's Jinner all over the gearbox of Mark. He's going to go on the outside. Was there contact between the two cars? There might have been. Where are they? There they are. Jinner retakes the lead, and it gets ahead of Marky, and Jinner will have a tyre advantage now. Ronnie has made his second stop and is now in 10th position there. Bring back Indianapolis. To be honest, I never liked Indianapolis on the old games. I think it was one of the worst circuits on like the older games when you had it in F1 2006, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 0. But I do think it is a circuit I look back on with a bit of fondness now. As into the pits comes Tori and Markey, going to complete their final stints of the season, and hopefully the season and the race as well. I expect another set of medium tyres going on as well. I prefer Indianapolis over Kota personally, which I know I'm going to get booed in the comments for that. I never really liked Kota. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. Probably because I'm rubbish at it. There you go. Rensport has a new game on PS5. I've seen that, but I have no idea what it's about then. Can you enlighten me, Real Ashton, because I'm a bit thick with that kind of stuff. Also, it's like Le Mans Ultimate. It's out on PS5 as well. Here comes Kieran. Now in the third position. I think Kieran going for one stop here. I think that Kieran is in prime position. He's the highest runner on fresher hard tyres now is Kieran. And I'm going to have to get out my stat book. So I'm going to have to check to see if Kieran's ever won a Silver Grand Prix. He is not, well, according to my stat book, he's not, he's never raced in silver. So Kieran then, unless he's under another name then potentially, which if that's the case, I'll go have to get the admins to help me out with that. But Vestia back up into third position with Kieran back into fourth. This is a battlefield position because both drivers are on the same strategy. And I'm wondering if Vestia then, who wanted a Grand Prix win, can he get a Grand Prix win today? He's looking on it, but he's got the fast and formidable Kieran behind him now. So Vestia is going to have to work for this Grand Prix win. There's sweet that he's done 2 laps extra on Vestia and Kieran. Into the pits comes Gina after 11 laps on the hard tyres. Is that the limit for the hard compound tyres? I think it might be, but I'm only thinking that. The real thing, gap to the leader, absolutely. As we'll get to, and there's the gap to the leader then as well. Whilst I've been whopping on then, boo, says Serious Pressure. Le Mans Ultimate's only PC. Oh, that's rubbish. I'm devastated by that. Basically, that's what you get for listening to TikTok, folks. Don't listen to TikTok. That's devastating. So I would like to have a sports car category in ALR as well. I know every time the admins hate it when I start making suggestions because they always grimace. Because I was a big fan of that having Grand Theft Auto then, goodness me, Gran Turismo on the Gran Turismo. Of course, and also did a great job of commentating on that because I would be all lost at sea if I commentated on Gran Turismo because I have no idea about cars and all that stuff. But it was cool to have like a timed racing event as well. Really enjoyed that. But then there's a lot of drivers up for it. It's Kieran and Vestia once again swapping positions. It's been a fantastic battle between these two drivers, and they're leaving it all on the track, which is what we love to see. And Vestia wants his first Grand Prix win of his career in silver. His best result is second position. He's been on the podium 5 times in his career in silver. Today he's really fighting off as Markey and Riley is fighting on the outside. Markey has switched across and up into 7th and 6th position and passes and gets past Riley. And that's going to be, incredible racing from Tory and Riley. How did they get through the Latifi turn side by side is beyond me. That is fantastic stuff indeed. Then to come out to the final turn to complete another lap. There is the gap to the leader. I'll switch. Let me know if you want the gap to the leader once again, as I'll keep switching backwards and forwards then. As a Tory is all over the back of Riley. I'm going to stick with this battle here between Kieran and Vestia, who are fighting tooth and nail. I've been talking about these drivers then, but I'm forgetting about Sweet, who's been one of the major championship adversaries of Mayran. Camera Racer and Jay Hinks are swap position at the far end of the circuit. As Kieran is too far back, so we're going to go back to this battle here. As Jay Hinks is now fighting with Jinner, because Jinner's on fresher, harder tyres, and Jinner is forced his way through. Back to this battle here between Ronnie and Tory, as they all condense up to each other, then into the chicane, which, was a contact between them, Tory and Riley. There was debris come off the Aston Martin. Goodness gracious me. The ones will be coming to console in 26 or 27 now. Emu, Rod Hudd's puppet then. Emu, is that from Sesame Street then? I'm thinking of that guy. It was like Grunge. It's the guy that lives in the trash can, which is basically like me, really. Only thing is, though, that I'm not green, I'm ginger. Hang on then. Actually, I think I look more like Beaker. Is that Beaker? Basically, if I ever look like a Muppet, which I do look like a Muppet a lot of the time, then I'll look very much reminiscent of Beaker. Cross the line then to complete lap 22 out of 29 here. Kieran is all over the gearbox now of Vestia. Farf is 74th position. I fear for Farf, he's going to have to come to the pits then, which is such a shame because I think Farf, this has been Farf's strongest performance of the season, which has been a really, really tough season for Farf. It's been a tough season for Jay Hinks as well. Hats off to those drivers. I think we should have a. I think we should definitely have a shout out for those drivers. And this Kieran is through, passes Vestia, but Vestia will have DRS on the next straight. Let's see how much it will do. You can see we're on board with Vestia. You can look at that steering wheel. You'll see the amount of usage he's got there. Look at that crank in the steering wheel. Left, right. Oh, Kieran has a squirrel. Markey is through, passes Debo Croc. Riley needs to get through his teammate as well. He's done it. Debo Croc could potentially be a mobile chicane now for the Riley's adversaries. Vestia back up into second position there. This has been a great old scrap, hasn't it? Riley all over the back of Markey then. He is going for it. He's too far back on the McLaren Mercedes. Tory is going. He's lunging for it. He's through. And on the inside, Jinner's going to try and get through as well. Debo Croc then, who is, I think, trying to be a mobile chicane for his teammate on the outside. Great racing. Can Jenner slow it down? Just about a contact between the Aston Martin and the Williams machines there. Incredible stuff. We to go under the hotel, which is where I was staying, but unfortunately not, because I haven't got the money, and also as well, I'll probably, if I was going around here, I'll probably be stuck under a palm tree for most of the time because I don't want to get burnt. Kieran once again, and what a battle between Vessier and Kieran. And I must say, Vessier is driving superbly well. And look at the gap. Look at the gap between first and second and third. The gap is coming down. It's almost under DRS. There is the Haas. There is the Alpine. There is the Mercedes. As through goes Kieran back up into second position. Vessier dropping down into third position now. But he'll have to switch through. But no, he won't, because I think that down the Mercedes in DRS range of the Haas car, and I think the Sweet's tyres are crying, and I think that Kieran and Vessier's going to have the same issue as well, and Marky might be in prime position to win the third race of his season there. Back on the outside is Vessier, and he proves me wrong, which is nothing unusual. Vessier back up into second position. Camera racer all over the back of Devo Croc. The gap is a second. Jenner on the outside, but Tori has the high ground there. Mayran is through, and into the top 10 is the world champion from Silver. We haven't seen much of Mayran tonight, as he's been having all kinds of gremlins in the opening stages there, but in the latter stage of this Grand Prix, it's starting to become a factor. Farf has gone soft, which is not ideal, I don't think. Evening to you, Halsey. Hope everything is well. The fridge light will burn you, says Serious Mushroom. Ouch. Which is why I take it out, because if the fridge light burned me, then I'll be very much all lost at sea. I live in the fridge, basically. Across the line comes Camera Racer, and he's going to get past Devo Croc now. Devo Croc there leaves a gap there. Hats off to Devo Croc there. I would have shut the door myself, but Devo Croc there, I think, knows that he hasn't got the tyres for the job. Back in the front, it's a freeway scrap now. Vessier then is now a bit further back, actually. I thought the Vessier might want to get through, but if he gets through, if he wants to pick a passing opportunity, which I've got to say is going to be, won't be able to pick, I don't think, eventually, he's going to have to get the job done now. He needs to get past at the end of this straight there. Great helmet design, by the way. Vessier gets helmet of the day for me. I know the season as well. Let's go with that. But look at Sweet. He's absolutely pulled away. I reckon Sweet's been harvested, 5 laps to go at the end of this season there. And what a doozy we've had. Jinner's on the outside of Tori. And yes, he's through. Jinner's having to do 6th position. Tori is down into 7th as well. And Jinner is powered through. And this next target as Duke out of the race. And sadly, Duke was hamstrung there from losing power on power in his home, unfortunately. And it's just the situation that Duke has been faced for the majority of the season, unfortunately. So that is such a shame there for Duke. So we expect to see him back in silver next season and challenging for that championship there. And hopefully have a fair shot at it as well. Sweet lead. Second is Vessier. Third is Kieran. Markey is 6.5 seconds back with 4 laps to go. Interested. Do you think that he'll be able to gain that gap then? Oh my goodness me! As Vessier has lost out, and I wonder if they're playing a bit of chicken here, because now Kieran's gone wide. They're playing chicken with the DRS potentially. Who's got it? Who's got it then as they come across the line now? And I think that they've no one's got it. What's going on there? Well, none of the cars have got it. Instead, it's the lap Aston Martin has got DRS in, and I think they're going to lose a lot of time. They're out of DRS range of the race leader Sweet. Then this is getting interesting. I've got indigestion. Not good. Goodness me, I'm going to have to get some water. Watching Jinner and watching Tori from a Jinner's perspective. So now these two have kind of been isolated. With Riley is now homing in on Markey. That could be the battle for the Grand Prix lead. The gap is down to 5.5 seconds. We're keeping an eye on that gap, because that could be crucial for the outcome of this Grand Prix. Like last night, it's been an absolute doozy. No safety cars tonight either, which of course threw a curveball in last night. I'm still umming and ahhing about last night, whether that safety car spiced up the race or made the race a bit more dull. Which, even though it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? One retirement in this race is Duke out of the Grand Prix. Farf on softs, Liam on softs as well. It's been a trying day for a lot of drivers out there. We've got a lot of penalties out there as well. Sweet is now really gapping these two, and I'm wondering then, after dropping out
amount of DRS. I reckon that Sweet might have been just trying to get his tyres back into the operating window, and now he is now starting to let fly. Maybe they got a bit too close for comfortable Sweet, but Sweet won incredible strategical masterclass if that is the case. Sweet going for his 4th Grand Prix win of his career in ALR Silver, and of course one of his most successful seasons, as Kieran is back past Vessier, back on board with Vessier, over the shoulders. Look at how much he cranks the steering wheel. That feels like a lot of understeer, that Alpine setup, but that might help him with tyre wear. But I must say, the scrubbing those tyres on the track surface is not ideal. I just seen a car very off there. Oh, it was an Aston Martin there. That Aston Martin of R2B is unfortunately a lap down after having a spin earlier on this Grand Prix. Incredible stuff indeed then. Evening legend then, Tim Halsey says to Rocket League, no, only 2 started hard, Farp and Kiki. Yes, and everyone else was on the medium tyres. I don't think the 2-stop strategy is. I don't think the drivers starting on the hard tyres has worked out to their advantage. Favre down in 14th position. I don't think the middle stint, particularly for Favre, really helped him. Really helped to do. He wasn't quick enough on the medium tyres, unfortunately for Favre, and that might have been the story of the season potentially. You know, then it's just Favre on those medium tyres just wasn't able to get the pace out of him. Here's Markey. So lap 27 out of 29 here. Then with the gaps are now 1 second between Kieran and Sweet, 1 second between Vessier and Kieran. Then we got Markey 2.5 seconds back, and he is towing Riley along nicely indeed, and Riley's towing Jinner along, and Jinner's towing Tory along. Goodness gracious me! Oh, and that's a lot of oversteer there from the McLaren. Got on the power too much there, and unfortunately that is going to lose him an abundance amount of time down this back straight on board with Riley. Riley's best finishing position has been second there. Of course, he's had a pole position this season. He's had a podium as well, has Riley. He has been fantastic, and now that he will be aiming for a podium at least in this in the final stage of this Grand Prix. Vessier has dropped back, and one of his tyres is starting to struggle. Sweets and Kieran's have done 16 laps for Sweet, 14 laps for Kieran, and 14 laps for Vessier as well. I think they're going to run out of time, you know. I think the Sweet might have pulled off a blind here, and I think that Kieran might swoop in the back door and take the Grand Prix win in his debut in silver tonight there for the Mercedes driver, as Katie has got past the second Mercedes of Jay Hings and is up into 11th position. We'll keep an eye on the penalty situation as well. Lap 28 then out of 29 then as Kieran cuts across the line then, and what a drive it's been from Kieran then. Of course got disqualified in qualifying, and after getting the fastest lap, I'm not sure if he could have got pole position with that, but getting disqualified, and is now trying to come back. Now he's come back from the field and is now into second position in this Grand Prix. Vessier in third position with Markey in fourth, Riley in fifth position. These drivers behind him, Vessier is now almost 2 seconds away. He is struggling. I think that the drivers are going to be a lap short. Here comes Kieran, and I think Sweet has been incredible stuff indeed then, as Kieran has come from the back of the field. Then we're on board with the Mercedes driver as well. He doesn't want to overtake on this part of the circuit. He'll overtake on this part of the circuit as well then, because then after that Sweet will not have a chance to re-overtake then, as we're on board with Kieran again. You can see he's pressing the DRS button, but I think that Kieran is just hanging back because he wants to do the overtake on the final lap so that Sweet doesn't have a chance to re-overtake him on the next lap. Vessier, who is now going to be very much looking over his shoulder. What a race has been for Vessier, but I think he's going to be a lap short, and sadly I think that he's just lost pace at the critical time then. If he kept with Kieran and Sweet, I think he could have been just about safe, but now look at this then. Vessier has a queue of Markey, Riley, Jinner and Tory behind him, and this could end in tears. It was been a superb end to the silver season, and of course it's been an absolutely superb season from all 4 ALR championships. I think this is the best season as a whole. There's a blue flag in the background. I'm not sure who that's for, as I'm having a sniff there for Markey, but no doubt about Vessier is harvesting then. Vessier is harvesting. I feel that he is going to be very vulnerable now, is Vessier. We're keeping on the battle at the front as well between Sweet and Kieran, as Kieran has come from the back of the field then. Having a look on the inside, Markey's going for it then in the Verstappen corner here. He's going to have more traction, more grip. But of course, Besser will be on the race line as look at that there, the front there. As we're going to have 2 overtakes. Markey is through. Markey is through. Markey is through. He's third position. Kieran on the outside of Sweet then. Sweet then is going to look at that. And Sweet is basically trying to park the car on the apex so that the Mercedes won't have a good run at him. But I think that's still not enough because Kieran is coming at him. But is he going to have enough as we go into the braking zone? And look at that. So the Sweet to trying to defend the inside. On the inside, he's forced him on the curve. And Sweet there will have the advantage on the outside. Great driving from both drivers. Sweet has covered the inside, and as we come into the technical final part, Kieran's on the inside, and there's contact, and Kieran's been spun around, and Sweet and was that side by side there for the 2 drivers there. And goodness gracious me, and Sweet there who repelled the attack from Kieran. That could be controversy, but out of the final turn, and Sweet is going to win his 4th race of his career. Sweet wins the final race of the season. Markey second, with Riley is going to be down into 6th position. Vasseur gets his podium as well. What an incredible end to that race. Mega stuff indeed. Then Sweet is a 4-time Grand Prix winner. And what a way to end off the season for Sweet then. It was bittersweet last time out in Qatar, but he finished off the season with a Grand Prix win for Sweet. His 4th win of the season, his 4th win of his career, his 12th podium of the season as well, which is the most podiums of the season. Really impressive stuff indeed there for Sweet, with Markey finishing 2nd there, Vasseur in 3rd position. Let's read the comments. It's got my work cut out tomorrow to try and help Reflections take the championship. Then make you drove brilliantly fast, Martin. Congratulations on the construction. One nibble too many, says Serious Musher. What was that to rejoin track unsafe and it messed up my 4th position, says Jinner. I'm wondering if that is the comment about the Mercedes driver of Kieran then when they were after the squabble that happened there. So just watching Sweet there, who's just cruising on his in lap there, taking in the applause from the crowd there is Sweet. And what a strong end to a very strong season for Sweet. And of course, he was already confirmed runner-up in the Drivers' Championship there for Sweet. And of course, I think that it's I'm not sure if Williams have got the 2nd position in the constructors actually, because I think we're going to have to get the old calculator out. I think in terms of the joint constructors, I think McLaren have won the joint constructors. I'm going to get my calculator out and hopefully we'll have the confirmation before. Lovely dance on the podium now. I think that McLaren are the joint constructors champions because Riot Racing Bulls have not scored today. Sweet with his 4th Grand Prix win of the season and his 12th podium of the season as well. Markey finished off a very strong season with the last 3 races. That was on the podium twice there. Vasseur, great drive to 3rd position. That's his 3rd podium of the season there for Vasseur. Kieran in 4th position from 20th to 4th there for Kieran now. So close yet so far. Tory in 5th position there. That is the Tory that we want to see there. 6th position was Riley there. That 3-second penalty cost him a few positions. Jenner unhappy with the rejoin. I think of the Mercedes. Debo Croc in 8th position. Another strong performance there for the sub driver. Mayron in 9th position there. 10th position is camera racer. KD just outside the points 11. Sloth 12. Hings in 13th. Farf in 14th. Kiki gets the fast lap in 15th. Kydal 16th. Gordo 17th. Liam in 18th. 19th is RTP. Only one retirement, which that is the Duke, unfortunately, out of this race. Rearing damage, turn 1 and what a whole race. However, thanks for a lovely season there. Yes, Halsey, we'll try our best. I hope you driving problems next season are to beat then. And GG Silver Halsey was late into ALR, but have enjoyed watching the Silver streams. Tot stuff, great season. Absolutely, it's been a superb season from Silver as well. And I think the McLaren are the joint constructors champions. So congratulations to the McLaren team. I'm sure they're going to be overjoyed with this result. But however, I think who's going to be more overjoyed than the McLaren team, especially with an incredible battle to get 3rd position today than Vasseur. But halfway through that race, and I thought that you was on course there to maybe steal the Grand Prix win from Sweet there. But how was that race for you?
Yeah, I thought that as well. I got my first podium in ALR in bronze was around here as well. Yeah, I had good pace. Was working with Kieran on that 2nd stint, and then just a few laps at the end, my tyres just massively dropped off, unfortunately, which meant I couldn't go for the race win, and then unfortunately got passed on the last lap by Marquez. So yeah, podium is better than nothing, I guess.
I must admit, it was looking a bit. It wasn't looking too good because in that final lap as well, they was all queuing up behind you. And what was your
Yeah,
feelings
there was a
with
lot of
those
tire drop off.
tyres?
Um, like they felt good. Like the strat seemed like it was good in the one stop, but then with the last 5 laps, it just had no pace whatsoever. So yeah, yeah. Move on to next season.
And talking about going into next season, with those tyres falling off, then do you think that there's something that you might be able to learn then from this race tonight, where potentially if you was able to keep the tyres in for a couple more laps, and you could have won a Grand Prix tonight, then do you feel that is going to be your main aim for into next season, getting that tyre strategy right, getting those tyres getting a working order for the stints, then to potentially elevate yourself to a Grand Prix win, and maybe even challenge for a championship?
Well, I went for the one stop tonight because the two stop seemed like it wasn't going to work out in gold. Like the front runners were all going on to a one stop, so I thought I'll go on the one stop tonight, and it unfortunately didn't work out for me. It worked out for Sweet though, so fair play to him.
And of course, I think overall you've had a very strong season as well. What has been your highlight? You've had 3 podiums as well this season. Is it tonight, or is there any other races that stand out for you that you've been absolutely incredible?
I would probably say it was Kota. I led most of the race, 20 out of 28 laps. Just frustratingly, there was a run off on circuit, and he flew by at the end. But yeah, I would say Kota was the best.
And then, of course, going into next season as well. What are your aspirations then for next season? Do you want promotion into gold? Of course, you have come from bronze to silver. You've got a lot of races behind you in silver now. So, is your aim now to challenge for promotion, or is it getting that first Grand Prix win?
Well, a bit of both, to be honest. Rather have the first win than just championship. Um, if I just get a couple of consistent podiums throughout the season and improve quali pace, that needs a lot of improvement. It'll be a better season.
I don't. I'm going to be honest. It's going to be tricky though to live up to that season and next season with your 3 podiums then. Do you think then that potentially for next season as well? Then, of course, you did mention about qualifying. We also talked about tires as well. You're very honest, by the way. Fantastic stuff indeed. So, what do you have to do then to improve your qualifying pace?
Uh, don't know. I'm just not really strong in quali, it seems. But I'll have to try something. Maybe a more aggressive setup for quali. I don't know.
I just hit the hard questions. But more importantly, though, is that you get the points in the race, though. So it's kind of yin yang, really, isn't it? Then,
Yeah.
and of course, over the we got the Christmas period coming up as well. What are you going to be doing over Christmas? Then? Are you going to be practicing for season 11 of Silver, or are you going to take a rest now and just maybe just relax a bit and get yourself ready for next season?
I probably won't do like multiplayer lobbies and practice in that way, but I'll probably do a bit of career mode with friends and that. And then just yeah, chill. I don't do that much practice because I think if I do practice, I over practice and get slow. So yeah,
Here, yeah. Because if I crash, I go ragey if I practice a lot and then fit for nothing.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Vester. Brilliant job today. Of course, your third podium of the season as well. Absolutely superb stuff there for you, Vester. And of course, only one DNF and 17 starts. Magnificent stuff. And that is going to be it then from the silver. Then congratulations to Mayran, who of course is the 10th champion of silver. Superb stuff indeed. McLaren, of course, getting the constructors championship as well. And I think that the joint constructors is as it stands at the moment, has been clinched by McLaren. Fantastic stuff indeed. Congratulations indeed. Tomorrow night, it is going to be a clash. Then it is going to be a fight. It's going to be a final showdown then between Reflections, Smithy Almighty, and of course, Hungry Stars. Then it is going to be very much all going down to the wire. Then 30 points is a full Grand Prix win. 31 points for fastest lap and the Grand Prix win as well. So that is it. Then it's all or nothing now. The constructors has been wrapped up. The joint constructors has been wrapped up. It is now just the drivers. Reflections on 348 points. 228 points for Smithy Almighty. 327 for Hungry Stars. Said those three are fighting for the championship. Who's going to be the winner? You'll have to find out tomorrow. Knowlesy is going to be in the comms box. And that's it for me. That's it from Fest here as well. I'll see you next year. Goodbye.